Haha! Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to the Good Morning Walk. And oh my, what a topic we've got for you today, but we'll wait to get to that because, yeah, it's unbelievable, but also at the same time really sad as well. I think, certainly for a lot of people, definitely, obviously fans of, shall we say, Kanye West, or AKA Yee, as he now likes to go by. Kath OG, good morning to you. FSM to go. FSM, howdy do to you as well. Pretty Bird, greetings and good morning to you as well. But yes, welcome. Up Dave W, good morning to you. Like I say, welcome, one and all to the Good Morning Walk, as always. Oh, yeah. Where to begin? Well, we've been talking a lot this week about Tory rebels. But not only just Tory rebels, but Tory leavings as well. Because, Daisy. Yesterday we got the news that let me say it correctly, that Sajid Javid is leaving. He is not going to be continuing his stance as the MP for his constituency. And he is not the only one. But what makes his... Oh, Nico, good morning to you. What makes his resignation stand out more is that he is like the first big one. You know, he is the first big name to essentially do a runner. Exactly, FSM, yeah. The ship, the rats are sinking. The rats are sinking the ship. Well, that may be the case. So that's fascinating. Oh, Paul, good morning to you. Oop. But for such a big name, and especially such a big name in conservatism as well, as Javid, that's incredible. You presume Doris will be moving on too? I don't know. Johnson has actually come out and said that he intends to stand again for his seat. So that is going to be interesting. Oh, Paul, good morning to you. So the fact that you've got like the first big name running away. Oh, JL, guten Morgen to you. The fact that you've got the first sort of big name running away, saying, I'm not going to stand again, is quite interesting. And it's not just that person that's left as well. It's the fact that you've got Devon Dawson, who was, back in 2019, sort of set up to be one of the big new up-and-comers of the Tory party. In fact, if you look at the other lists of people who sort of have declared that they're leaving, it's all people who were very, very much sort of touted and sold as sort of the future of the Conservative Party. So it's quite interesting that these people are leaving, because you have to question, well, if these people have been sort of sold as this is the future, then what does that actually say about the party that they're leaving? I mean, but then again, I think this is just the current state of the Conservative Party. Oh, Cavan, good morning to you, good morning to you. And like I said, good morning to anyone else joining us, or anyone that I've missed in the chat. They're all leaving now, so can they still get a comfy constituency consultancy job? Probably. That is probably what at least they're hoping for. Oh, number 3, good morning to you. Yeah, Sunak wants to avoid embarrassing by-election defeats. Well, that was the other good news that we had as well. Yesterday, Chester, the first by-election under Rishi Sunak. Of course, Labour won this seat back in 2015, and they just narrowly held on to it. By about 29. That's how close the last election was. But this time, they won it around with a very comfortable majority of 11,000. So that spells really good news, to be honest, for certainly Labour at the next general election. But now there's probably a lot of Tories going, Yeah, and exactly that's the other one as well. You know, by-elections do have a low turnout. I think that I can't remember exactly what the turnout was. But again, it was a low turnout. So with that bigger majority on a by-election that have historically low turnouts, yeah, 40% turnout. So that's to be honest pretty low. But the fact that you've got that majority on such a low turnout, I have to say that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And remember, most local elections for like councillors are normally about, 20, sort of 25, I think the national average is. So the fact that you've had a by-election for, the MP, and you've got around 40%, I think that's well above, or maybe that's the average for what the average is. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But I think so. But to be honest, that's pretty good. And I think it really does show that Starmer really needs to start being brave and not being, afraid to put forward policies. Because I think that you've got all these Tories sort of coming out of nowhere going, yeah, I'm not going to stand at the next by-election or the next general election. Oh, Chatty Rats, good morning to you. Like I say, that's it's infinitely fascinating that we've got this going on at the moment, because you know full well that the Tories We know full well that they are going into a general election. They know it. Whether it turns out to be true or not. Paul, will Starmer embrace the change in the opinion over Brexit? To be honest, he's already creeping slowly but surely towards like a softer Brexit. But the thing is, even Sunak is trying the same thing as well. And they are pretty much playing this game of, well, you know, postman's knock or blindman's bluff. Essentially, slowly but surely edging towards softer and softer versions of Brexit. You know, and I know for a lot of people, you know, they want Starmer to go really fast and sort of really quick. But to be honest, this slow but steady approach to it, I think is the right ideal. Because if not, the danger then becomes at the next general election is that you get Farage rearing his ugly head, and then he starts trying to say that, you know, I'm going to sort of protect Brexit and make sure, you know, we don't get dragged back into the, you know, all the Farage's usual, you know, mumbo jumbo. So both parties are being very careful. Very careful. I mean, you've only got to remember, just a couple of weeks ago, the ERG was absolutely flipping out over the suggestion that Sunak might be looking at trying to do a Swiss-style deal with the EU. And you saw the sheer panic, you know, just a couple of weeks ago about that. And we covered that very extensively. And of course, the reaction of what the ERG was. Now, Starmer is in a different position in that Starmer does not have, like the Conservative Party has, a hardcore group of Brexit fanatics. You know, that doesn't exist in the Labour Party. So that gives him more room to manoeuvre in his parliamentary side of the party. The problem is that in the non-parliamentary party, there are a lot of Labour voters who, for various different reasons, did vote for Brexit, and in the 2019 general election believed Boris in the whole let's get Brexit done. And I believe it was I think it was FSM, I believe it was in the chat, who just said they're both waiting for the opinion polls to really change. And I really think they are, because they pay attention to the polls. Oh, don't worry, they absolutely do pay attention to the polls. And I think the fact that the more we do these opinion polls, asking people, do they regret their decision? Do they want the UK to rejoin? The more and more they will be able to manoeuvre then. So I know a lot of people, especially on sort of my side and sort of the rejoin groups, always go, oh no, Starmer's not committing to sort of, the single market and customs union. But he does right, because if Starmer were to commit to that, as many people sort of on my side, want to rejoin the EU, sort of really want to sort of push him to do, then in every single Labour seat, you would have a Farage candidate. And the worry would be, because to be honest, we don't know what potential effect that could have on the general election. Like, we really do not know. You also may get the Conservatives running a, we're going to protect Brexit campaign, which will, again, certainly win them votes. But it's something that, we have to bear in mind. And I don't think a lot of people have really sort of thought about if Starmer came out and said, yeah, we are going to sort of, rejoin the single market customs union, what a potential minefield that would be at the next general election. So I understand, a lot of people really want him to push to rejoin, but you've got to think again of the big sort of political picture. Starmer is moving towards a lighter version of Brexit, which again is good, because the lighter versions, the lighter you have of Brexit, the more it just shows you how really good having those links and being part of the EU is. Oh. I don't know, can you see him? There he is. So it is. So it is a game of tiptoe. Low res pony. Yeah, like I say, this is the problem now. Now that we've got, we're in the depths of winter. I've sort of got to wait for at least the sun to rise on some cases, which is sort of super annoying. But that's what happens when you do, a live stream outside. Oh, so yeah, that's sort of the current real state of the UK at the moment in terms of sort of, politics. Rishi Sunak is potentially, he's not just potentially, he is a lame duck Prime Minister. Starmer and both Sunak are playing a very careful game, especially around the next general election. And I still think there is going to be a general election next year. I think that's when it's going to happen, because there's no way the Tories can last 2 years with the state that things are on at the moment. And especially when you've got all this rebellionism around what is, and this is the term for you all today that you might learn. You're going to be hearing this. Oh yes, here we are. Oh no, we're heading into the Bermuda Triangle. Oh no, let's see if we can make it through. Wish me luck. So we'll see if we can get through. But yes, welcome to the Barnsley Triangle, where all signals seem to go. As long as I've at least keeping connection. I might have gone low res, but at least we've kept connection. At least I think. I don't know. You'll probably tell me in a bit. But I haven't lost connection yet. That's good. You want to see UFOs? Oh, and we've made it through. Well, we've made it through without disconnecting, so that's good. That's very good. So where were we? That's it, general election. So there is going to be a general election next year. no doubt in my mind there is going to be a general election next year. It's just a question of where and when. Did you check out the PR link I sent you? Yes. Yes, I remember now. I've completely forgot about that. I'll have a look. Have to remember to have a look at it. But yeah, yes, I remember now. Yeah. Sorry. I've had a lot on my plate this week with taking over JCR UK. Like I say, Cat Smith. Like I say, I'll remember to look her up. But there's a new term. Well, it's not exactly new, but it's very deeply linked to all the ongoing Tory nonsense we're hearing, because all these Tory rebels are wanting to make sure that essentially these new houses and these new planning developments, so that, you know, we can build new houses, deal with sort of land banking, and basically make sure more young people can get on the housing ladder, has essentially become and dubbed against it as Nimbyism. And this is the shorthand for not in my back garden. So you're going to hear that a lot, because a lot of these Tories that are rebelling are desperate not to do this, and it's really a battle between the haves and have-nots, and it's really sort of putting the Tory party in a position they do not want to be in, of we are going to defend those people who have houses but don't want a new development, because who knows who could move in next door. But even a conservative think tank came out and said, look, if you don't do this, you are going to sort of destroy an entire generation not voting Tory. Because, as we said, we mentioned before about that piece in the Conservative Home of, hey, if you actually do things for young people, then shockingly, they might actually consider voting for Tories. And it's sort of, it was a big revelation, a big revelation, you know, but hey, that's it. I'm just trying to think, shall we go that way? Oh, the thing is, that way will be all muddy. Tell you what, we'll have a, tell you what we'll do, we'll walk around the wide way this time. We'll go this way. Whew, dear, bless me. Bakura just got in. What did you miss? Well, we haven't talked about Kanye yet. Oh my. Oh my. But yeah, we'll just finish off on the Tory rebels. But doing this is going to massively affect the Tories in the next general election, because it puts them in a state they do not want to be in. But it gives Starmer massive room to manoeuvre and massive opportunities to really be bold with policy and what he wants to do. Oh, David, hi. Hello to you. Are you avoiding the really muddy path? Yes, I am, because it's honestly somehow managed to get even worse. We're gonna have to wait until at least it gets a bit colder and it sort of, you know, starts to freeze over. But then you've got that dangerous point of, you know, there's ice. So yeah, it gets even funner. It gets even funner. Ugh. So, Yeah, the Tories are in, I think, for an absolute election kicking. And if they do give in to these Tory rebels, then it's an absolute gift. It is an absolute gift to Labour. Oh. I don't know if you can see and hear the geese. There they are. It will be an absolute gift, to be honest, to Labour if they capitulate to these rebels. And even then, there is another side really angry about the fact in the Conservatives that they're giving in to these rebels. And as we've said before, if you've got, just watching out for the geese, if you've got all these rebels demanding concessions, then at what point can Rishi Sunak actually try and pass any legitimate sort of policy or bills or anything like that? So there's just going to come a point where they are going to have to go for a general election. I think it'll be next year. There is absolutely no way they can do it. Absolutely no way. But yeah, it's good news for us. But I wanted to do a video on this, but I thought I'd save it for today. How many of you know the artist formerly known as Kanye West, now known as Ye? Because oh boy, yeah, this is someone who is clearly not well. Like, he is clearly not well, and you saw it on sort of the Tim Pool, and even the even the Alex Jones show. And oh my word, he was spouting his love for a, shall we say, a certain mustachioed German gentleman, to which Alex Jones was desperately trying to give him an off-ramp, saying, no, you don't like you don't like this gentleman, do you? And honestly, his face throughout the entire interview was absolute gold. But there was a special point which I think is definitely worth a mention, because oh my, it was absolute gold, and I think it will be immortalized forever. Yeah, Patrick Yates, yeah, he does need a serious intervention. A definite serious intervention. But there was one point where Jones goes, so, what is this about you running for president? And without missing a beat, Kanye West goes, oh, Alex, you've got such a way of wording things that lead you to get sued. And Jones' face, oh my. Alex Jones's face at that point when, oh my. It went from, what on earth is this interview, to, what on earth have I just said? Am I going to get sued again? But yeah, this is such a sad tale. This is real. Yeah, you're all right. How is he not in jail? This is unfortunately really such a sad tale because it's really sort of the story of a guy who, he's in desperate and obvious clear need to, for some actual help, but for whatever reason he has seemed to refuse that, and now has seemed to, shall we say, target a certain group of individuals for his object of hate. And I'll tell you what, Milo and who's the other guy, Nick Fuentes, who are both very much neo-Nazis who have sort of tried to sort of take him under their wing. They are now rubbing their hands with glee, because I would not be surprised if both of them are like, yeah, so Kanye, how about you give us some of that money? Because they are both desperate. They are, your classic grifters to the core. They desperately want to get their hands on some of Kanye's cash. And I think that's why there's talk about bringing him into sort of a conservatorship, which again would benefit him massively because, if you've seen some of the interviews, I think it was the Tim Pool one where he talked about, having the money to sort of buy his own bank. Yeah. It's not really good, but he really, really needs help, to be honest. And it's just, hopefully he gets it. And I think a lot of people have asked, certainly after the Alex Jones interview, is there any ever way he might come back? Oh yes, Bakura, yes, I know that, yes. Milo, the ex-gay who married someone but still lives with them. He's just his flatmate now, not his husband. Yeah. Oh. But yeah, he desperately needs help. He needs some sort of intervention. Who's Milo, David? Don't worry. Don't worry. If you don't know who some of these people are, put it this way. If you know who they are, that's fine. But if you don't know who these people are, trust me, you're sometimes better off living in ignorance of some of these people. But yeah, especially in sort of the case of sort of Kanye, he needs like, some sort of, professional help. And I think it's been made very, very clear. He is surrounding himself with people who I think, to be honest, are going to take advantage of him. Yeah, exactly, Bakura. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those cases where sometimes you're just better off knowing, not knowing. So yeah, the more, you know, I really hope he goes and gets help, because apparently David Bowie went through something very similar. Apparently, I'm not sure how true that is, but apparently David Bowie went through a very similar stage where he had, shall we say, a complete nervous breakdown, and started, shall we say, blaming a very same number of shall we say, group of people for his troubles and woes. The thing with David Bowie was that after it all, he came out, he apologized and just said, I wasn't in my right mind. Please just ignore everything I've ever said about this. Now, whether Kanye can ever certainly come back from that and sort of do the same thing, maybe. But I guarantee you've got a lot of so yeah, it's unfortunate that this guy is being taken advantage of, and of course he is incredibly wealthy, as he has said, and of course he's now being surrounded by the grifters on the right wing, who are desperate in any way, shape they can to try and get a bit of money from him. So yeah, I mean, he's even fallen out with Elon Musk. Elon Musk has banned him from Twitter because he blatantly posted a should we say, a certain logo. And even Elon Musk sort of DM'd him and said, dude, this is going too far. So yeah, sometimes you look at these things and you go, it's sort of funny, but it's sort of funny in a very tragic way as well. The guy needs some serious professional help. I think he's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So, and you can see that in sort of the Tim Pool interviews and certainly the Alex Jones one. Oh my, just mood swings constantly, going flipping from one thing to the next. But it's so sad, because he's one of these people who, certainly for a lot of people, really is sort of seen as a musical genius. And like I say, I'm not into that genre of music. I'm a heavy metal fan myself. So it's not my genre of music. But I can think of what if an artist I really liked started spouting all this nonsense as well. Yeah, I'd be sort of quite upset. So there are certainly a lot of people out there so we can only hope that eventually he gets the help he needs, and that he comes out at the end of all this and just says, yeah, look, I was in a really bad place, I wasn't well, I'm really sorry for all the stuff that I said, but please ignore it, because I just wasn't in the right mental state. I wasn't in my, wasn't my right self. Hopefully maybe he can sort of say that and do that comeback. But we'll have to see. But yeah, I hope he does get the help that he needs. So yeah, I hope he does eventually get the help he needs. I doubt we'll ever see this video, but hey guy, you very, very clearly need some professional help. Please go seek it, because you're disappointing a lot of your fans out there with some of the stuff you're saying, and maybe it's time you took away from the spotlight. Take a year out. Go seek some professional help, and get well soon. And then when you come back, remember to apologize for all this stuff, please, guy, because yeah, it desperately, you really need to apologize for all this stuff. But yeah, so that's the madness of Yi. Is he running for president? I don't know if he's running for president. But like I say, I'm sure there is probably like a highlights reel of Kanye on the Alex Jones show. And oh my word, there's even points where Alex Jones doesn't even know what to do or say. And that's saying a lot, where even Alex Jones is like so confused by what the hell is going on. Yeah, sheer utter insanity, madness. But yeah, I hope he gets his, help he needs. And yeah, I hope he gets well eventually. I think that's all we can really hope for. But yes, on to potentially next week. What are we looking out for? Well, certainly we're going to see more continuing Tory rebel activity. That's absolutely for sure. And it's just, what concessions do they extract from the levelling up bill? Do they get rid of the onshore wind? It's really, really quite strange, all this stuff that's going on, because it's just classic. There we go. It's really just classic, Tory civil wars 2.0 that are going on. But it's fights that the Tories have been having for years. This entire housing crisis and disaster is one of their own making, because they have not built the houses that they promised. And as a result now, they're only just starting to realise, yeah. And of course we've got a load of strike action as well. The posties are going to go on strike, nurses and a lot of hospital staff are going to go on strike as well. I think you've got a lot of teachers, universities, lecturers as well. Yeah, a lot of people going on strike. All we really need now, like, if you really want to see the cause of mass panic, all we really need is for Amazon warehouse workers to go on strike for better pay and at least definitely better conditions. But I'll tell you now, if they can achieve that and go on strike, yeah, Bezos will not be a happy boy. If that happens. Go. Okay, look for the hard parts to stand on. Go. Morning. But yeah, it's the longer this rebellion goes on as well, the worse it becomes for certainly for Sunak. You know, I've kept on saying it. What type of any big legislation can he pass? He really can't pass anything. And beyond the budget, as we said before, what's the point of Sunak? You know, even the Conservatives are realising there's not too much of a point for him beyond that. And I think the more you start to see it there, the more realisation will be, well, we either try and survive for 2 years, which is going to be impossible, or not. Will Britain have a constitution eventually? Yes. I think it really is just a matter of time. Like I say, we've technically got a constitution, but it's an unwritten constitution. And it's been one of those things where the Tories, especially under Johnson, have taken massive advantage of it. So we do desperately need a written constitution. To be fair, the Tories have helped with the global warming crisis. Oh yeah. You're trying to see what I've got in my pockets. But I don't see whether... Oh, thank you very much, Catho G, for something warm. Thank you very much. I will be definitely getting me a coffee after this. But thank you very much, as always, for your support there. Like I say, we're coming up to one of these, you know, I think big crunch points. And I think it will come to just a head where the public wants a general election. They want rid, to be honest, of the Conservatives. And the fact that the UK public desperately wants change. And if Starmer can actually deliver that change, or, you know, and put forward a really good manifesto, he's a shoo-in. And I think the Tories will be absolutely well and truly trounced for that. The pony's following, he wants just a gold minute to shine. we've got another feeder coming down, so we're all about to go and mob her as she walks down. You can all watch her over here, aren't you? So I haven't got anything for you, but there, off they go. But yeah, it's an interesting time, certainly, going on in. We've got a very interesting time sort of coming up in terms of sort of the politicking, but it really is going to be a morning. But it is really going to be a sort of a fun time just to see what happens. But I do think it will just be, you know, Sunak has already signalled that, you know, if you have enough rebels, he is willing to cut a deal. And that doesn't bode well. That really does not bode well. The fact that he's got to constantly deal with this. And then we get problems about, well, what if another big crisis happens? Which potentially has every opportunity of happening. How does he deal with it? What happens if we have, you know, another COVID wave and you've got Tories out there who are like, no, we don't want another lockdown? It's, yeah, it could go very, very badly. The fact that he has no control over his party whatsoever. But yeah, that's unfortunately our current state of playing UK politics. Yeah, and like I say, things are going to start getting a bit quieter now. Obviously, you know, people are heading into sort of the Christmas break. I think Parliament rises, as we call it. I think in 2 or 3 weeks' time, I think it is. So yeah, things are going to get pretty quiet, certainly over Christmas. So if things do get a bit quiet, you might have to sort of indulge me while I sort of talk maybe about something maybe a bit geeky just to cover. But to be honest, there's plenty of stuff still going on. So yeah, as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for joining me today on today's Good Morning Walk. Like I say, I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, we'll see you next Saturday again for the Good Morning Walk. We'll also be going live on Wednesday, maybe for Good Morning Wednesday Walk, or maybe for a Wednesday night live. I haven't decided yet. We'll have to see. But yeah, thanks as always for joining us, guys. Like I say, please do remember to hit that like and share button on the way out. And yeah, there are links down below for my Patreon page, my one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me a coffee. There's the YouTube thank you button. Like I say, there's obviously the super chats as well. You can help with support the channel that way. There's always, guys, like I say, thank you so much for joining. There's the Pony Club as well that you can join, where you get badges and whatnots as well for that. So as always, guys, like I say, thank you so much for joining us sort of today. Have a fantastic weekend. As always, as we say, if you can't be safe, be sensible. And go out, enjoy yourself, have fun. And of course, we'll see you next Saturday for another Good Morning Walk. Ooh. Ooh.